Good morning, students of Henley High. Beginning of week 4, this is my first chance as principal to welcome you all back to Henley. In our past worlds, we would have had an assembly and we would have celebrated your return at that assembly. So while we are in these challenging times, we thought to present you with a short video with some information that I would normally say at that assembly. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that some of you haven't been at school for a good 8 to 10, maybe 12 weeks, depending on when your learning finished at the end of last year. A challenge for that is you may have forgotten some of the things that we value and what we hold true. And the main thing is our values around to strive, to seek, not to yield, underpinned by respect and responsibility. I would like to also take the opportunity to introduce our new Director for Inclusion, Mr. Marshall. He's taken over from Colette, Ms. Boss, and I'd like to welcome him now. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, Eddie, and thanks for the welcome. And thanks, all of you. It's been a positive start, and good to see some familiar faces that I know already. But yeah, thank you.
Would you like to talk a bit more about the care package?
Sure. So this morning, as Eddie has said, we just want to reinforce some of the expectations that we want to promote with you that your care group teachers have been promoting in that time. So it's just about supporting you to flourish in this environment. Being new to this environment, it's been great seeing you all, very welcoming of new people and each other. But I guess today it's just to reinforce those expectations through a document that will be shared with you probably a bit more closely with your care group teachers in that time. So we're really committed at Henley High to maintain a really positive learning environment with all our members of the community. We want to make sure that everyone feels a really strong sense of belonging and safety within this environment, because we spend a lot of time here and a lot of time together. So being able to feel that sense of safety and I guess identity within school is really important for you to thrive and flourish, as Eddie has said. So, like I said, this document will be provided by your care group teacher. Hopefully it'll be up on a wall, or you can have a copy of it so you can have a look at it more closely. And I guess, just to reflect at times, when you are having those moments, and just refresh yourself with a document like this is important as we go through the term and as we go through the year. Some key points out of it though, and I think just about how we can support you to flourish and how you can, flourish yourself is, acting with integrity and respect and responsibility, and what that means. Using respectful language, with each other, with your teachers. All your teachers here are here to support you to do your best and achieve your best, and I think being respectful of that's really important, and relationships are really important for you to succeed. Accepting of others. We know everyone is different, and everyone brings different qualities and strengths. It's different to what you do, so making sure you're accepting of that is really important. And just, promoting a kindness and showing empathy towards others, because it has been a tricky start, Eddie, hasn't it?
Yeah.
COVID has impacted people in different ways, not only staff but students and our whole community. So having some empathy with that. And just thinking of others before yourself, I think, is really critical in being in this environment together and promoting that. So how we want you to promote this and show it, and I've already talked a little bit about language and being respectful of each other, but it's also the environment that we're in. We've already had, at times, a little bit too much rubbish left around, especially on the oval. Know that we have to share this space, and it is a big school, but we still have to share the environment together. So being respectful of that, and just little things like making sure you pack up after yourself, or pick up after yourself, I think is really important too. Working with your teachers, like as I said, they're there to support you. So within your classroom, it's a place that we want you to feel safe in, but it's also a place of learning. And you engaging, with your learning is really important for your teachers to be able to support you in that. And overall, I think it's just about building positive relationships with each other. As I said, being new, I've come in, and it's been wonderful to see some familiar faces, but also people that I don't know, and how friendly and courteous you have been in the corridors or just walking through the yard. So it's a great culture here. We want to maintain that, but we also want to thrive that and flourish that. So your role in it is pretty critical. Our role in it is critical, but we're all in this together, and good things can happen from that. So everyone's here to support you. As I said, care groups are time that we can really reinforce these messages, but also give you a voice to discuss this, which I think is important also. There's lots of avenues for support. If you feel like the classroom is a space that can get a bit overwhelming, there are lots of avenues of support, and please see your teachers, to access that, because we don't want you to just sit on, if you're having big feelings or you're struggling with certain things, don't keep that in. I think it's important that you really access support with that. So I think I might stop talking now and hand you back to Eddie. But once again, thank you for the positive start of the year. I look forward to moving forward and supporting you all. So
thank you, Paul. So very important what Paul has said around our behaviour and the way in which we interact with each other. I suppose some points to remind at the beginning of a school year, apart from behaviour and our interactions with each other, is our school uniform. If you are a person who wears a dress, for example, or a person who wears a polo shirt, like the summer dress I'm talking about, or a person who wears a polo shirt, school rules is that you are not to have undergarments under that are seen, like black undergarments or other bits and pieces. If you are wanting to wear a t-shirt underneath your polo shirt or under that dress, it's important that it's not seen and it's not noticeable. That also goes for hoodies. Hoodies are not part of the school uniform, and if you want to wear one when not at school, that's fine, but while at school that hoodie has to be removed and not worn. We do have jumpers to keep you warm, so essentially the school uniform is that if you're wearing a summer dress, then you want to wear something white underneath, that's fine. If you are wearing the winter dress, please be aware of the codes and rules around that. I always encourage you to wear maybe trousers more often for all of you, because it gets cold in winter time, but it seems to be a culture here of shorts, not trousers, but that's your decision in terms of keeping warm. But just to re-emphasise, wearing of undergarments under your main school uniform is fine, but it can't be seen. The other part is these masks. This is a mandate that's come to us from the Department of Health, encouraging all people to be wearing masks in the school in places like this. Mr. Marshall and I aren't wearing it at the moment because we are talking to you, but as soon as we finish, we're putting our masks back on. It's a sign of lack of respect and a lack of responsibility when you choose not to wear masks in the classroom. Just want to take a moment to encourage you to consider potential impact. If we are a school that wants to flourish, if we are a school that wants to have gratitude, for where we are, and let's acknowledge that. We have been very, very lucky in South Australia compared to many other places in Australia and the world in terms of our freedoms to do what we want to do. That is because we've all been respectful and compliant with these masks. It's not to protect you, it's to protect others. You do not know the needs of the person next to you. Are they immunocompromised? Do they have other health issues that you're not aware of? And by you maybe being asymptomatic in COVID, and there's a lot of us around that's had that, you may not be aware that you are coming down with the COVID, and you're transmitting that to another person who you may deeply care for. Someone that you respect, someone that you love. And I just want you to build a culture where we consider the needs of others. It's also important, I'm putting a lot of strength to the teachers' elbows to encourage you to wear masks. It's not something that we'll punish you over, but it's something that we will constantly remind and care for. So if a teacher asks you 6 or 7 times to put your mask on, it becomes an issue of respect and responsibility. And that's when things may escalate. At what point aren't you willing to be respectful to the people around you? And I want to challenge those who are in that situation. On the other side, if you want an exemption, you just need your parents to communicate with me via email, and is usually the best way. I look at the situations. I actually put it onto your student file that I've given you an exemption for mask wearing. I ask teachers to, where's your mask? Fine. If you say there's an exemption, I ask teachers to look online and to see if that's true. If it's there, I ask teachers to be respectful of that exemption. But at the same time, if it's not there, it means you don't have the exemption, and you've got some work to do to either comply or to get that exemption done quickly. So I've tried to automate and speed up the process. We have to restart the exemption process because you only had an exemption for last year, and I'm now doing new exemptions for this year because people may make decisions and change their opinions and beliefs about masks. So I just want to really emphasise, we're all expected to wear masks. We're all human at times and make mistakes, but at the same time we should strive to seek, not to yield, as our values are around mask wearing, around behaviour, and around our uniforms. Have a great day. Yes, I ask teachers to go through in a bit more detail with the information we will give them. We'll also be sending this video to parents. Thank you very much.